Greetings folks, it's Skiz Fernando. Welcome back to another edition of Pan Asian. And today, as we sometimes do, I'm expanding the boundaries of Asia to include the African country of Ethiopia, which is located right on the Horn of Africa. It's a place I've had the pleasure of visiting several times, and I've always had an amazing time there. It's got a great cuisine and an amazing culture and history. So today I thought we'd make the national dish of Ethiopia, which is called Doro Wat. And it's basically a kind of a chicken stew, kind of curry thing going on with a lot of spices, a lot of flavor. And it's not so difficult to make, it just takes a minute. And I actually found the recipe in this Ethiopian cookbook. It's called The Recipe of Love, an Ethiopian cookbook. And this should be an authentic recipe. So I'm going to show you how to make this dish in your very own kitchen. All right, you ready to go? For starters, you're going to need one whole chicken or parts. And as you can see, I'm using 6 chicken drumsticks here. The juice of 2 limes, and I'm actually using 2 lemons. 2 tablespoons of salt. 8 cups of red onion chopped. 1 cup of olive oil. You're going to need 2 cups of Bearberry spice mix, which is an Ethiopian spice mix you can get at any Asian or Ethiopian store. 1 cup of dry red wine. Half a cup of ghee, which is clarified butter. You can get that at any Indian store. 1 teaspoon of cardamom seeds. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. 2 tablespoons of minced ginger. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1 tablespoon of allspice. A teaspoon of black pepper. And finally, 3 hard-boiled eggs. All right, first things first, let's go deal with the chicken. Now, as you can see, I've got my 2 lemons here. And I'm just going to cut these. Squeeze the juice all over the chicken, like so. And I also want to take about 1 tablespoon of my salt. And we're just going to work that lemon juice and salt into all the chicken. And of course I washed this chicken beforehand. And we're just gonna let this chicken marinate for about 45 minutes, all right? And over at the stove top here, I've got a pot to which I'm gonna add my olive oil. And once that gets hot, we're gonna start sauteing our onions. Now that's a lot of onions, so make sure you got a big pot. Now, thanks to the magic of TV, those onions are nicely sauteed. So what we're going to do next is add the Bearberry spice, 2 cups. I know it seems like a lot, but that's what the recipe calls for, and a cup of dry red wine. I'm going to mix that all up and let it cook on medium heat for about 30 minutes. And this is what it's going to look like 30 minutes later. It's thick and it smells amazing. And at this point, we're going to add the chicken, but first we've got to wash and drain it. And I'm just going to place the chicken right back into the pot with the onion mixture. Now I'm just going to make sure that all the pieces of chicken are thoroughly covered with the sauce. And we're going to cook this for about 25 minutes. At this point, we're going to add the ghee, the cardamoms, the garlic, and the ginger. I'm going to incorporate these new ingredients into the mix, like so. Make sure they're all thoroughly mixed. And then we are going to simmer it for an additional 20 minutes. At this point, we're going to add the allspice, the nutmeg, and the black pepper. And of course, don't forget your remaining 1 tablespoon of salt. And if you need more salt, taste it and add it as you like. But this is going to be the last round of ingredients to add. And we're just going to simmer this for an additional 15 minutes. And the final step in our long process here is to add the hard-boiled eggs. And of course I hard-boil these in advance. And after you add the eggs, you can just turn the heat off and let the whole dish rest for about 20 minutes before serving. And there you have it, Doro Wat, a dish from Ethiopia, here on Pan Asian. Now usually Ethiopian food is eaten with a sourdough type bread called injera, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using some plain steamed white rice here. And now for the moment of truth. I've had this dish so many times in restaurants, so let's see how my own home version compares. Take a nice helping of gravy here. The sauce is just thick and rich and dark. A real complexity of flavors, and it really tastes like no other food you've ever had. You can't really compare it to Indian food or Middle Eastern food. This is some very unique flavor here. And the bearberry spice that I used to make this dish, I actually got in Ethiopia, but you can get it at any good Asian market, or better yet, an Ethiopian market. If you live in a city that has a community of Ethiopians, check it out and ask for bearberry, which is the main spice that they use heavy on the chili. I'm really feeling this. And it's not typically a dish that you would want to make at home because it takes a long time, but in this case, well worth the effort. And you know, ever since I first had Doro Wat at an Ethiopian restaurant, I always wondered, how do you make it? What is in this dish? And now I know, and so do you. My name is Skiz Fernando, and I will see you next time on Pan Asian.